Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome from all over the world. I'm Andrea. I'm one of the CEOs of QX World, and it's my pleasure to welcome you today to the training on the OMNIS Smart Report, one of the most awaited features of the OMNIS software. And I'll start soonish by sharing my screen. But before that, I would like to tell you that if you have any questions, just either raise your hand or put them in the Q&A box like you have done already. I think everybody has sound, right? Yes, good. So please feel free at any time of the presentation to ask your question, and I will stop, and then we can discuss whatever you have. If I don't see you, my colleagues here will help me draw my attention to it. So there's people who say here they don't hear me. I think everybody else does. Do you? Can I get a yes? Thank you. Then maybe your computer, make sure your computer sound is on, and then you will be able to hear me, all of you. Okay, great. So let's start. I'll start with a little presentation. Okay, let's go in presentation mode. Okay, so everybody should see my screen right now. I'll just move the Zoom controls. So welcome to the Smart Report training, navigation training, revision April 2021, presented to you by QX World. Going over today's agenda, what are we going to look at? We're going to navigate through the OMNIS and review all of the panels that we gather data from. We're going to see what type of data is saved and what we need to click to save it. We are going to introduce to you a new function that will be available in the OMNIS, the live consultation notes. Then we are going to take a look at how the report tool actually functions. What are the options for you to personalize the report for each client? And then we're going to see how to generate that report. At this moment, we have two types of reports. We have a practitioner smart report and a client educational handout. The practitioner smart report is the most exhaustive one with the most information that contains everything that you have done during the biofeedback session. The client educational handout is something that you can safely give out to each client that comes to you. It contains information that is pertaining to them, but it does not have any information that can be confusing or that can't jeopardize your practice in any way. We are going to go and browse through both of these reports, so you are going to be able to see exactly what I mean. Moving forward, so how did we design the OMNIS Smart Report? We designed it to offer our QX therapists new, improved ways to engage with clients and manage their practices. We have built-in capabilities that support your professional needs, and we believe it sets your current practice model up for greater success. So in OMNIS navigation, let's see what are the areas that are covered by the Smart Report. The Smart Report was designed to automatically cover all relevant information during your biofeedback session in most of the panels you visit and do therapy in, and it eliminates the need to save the data separately. So let's see, what does this mean? How will your therapy look like from now on? How will you be able to work? So how does your typical session look now? We start with recording the client data in demographics. Then we move on to the calibration, testing, EEG, ECG, the EMG baseline measurements. We follow with the entrainment, all the session trainings and therapies that are appropriate to our client. Then we go to current rectifications and we make sure that we have the rectifications optimized for today. And then we perform the EEG, ECG, EMG, the post-session measurements. And at the end, we generate the client and the practitioner report. Nowhere in here, there's the need for you to click on additional buttons to save your data, because the Smart Report does that for you in the background. So having said that, let's go to the OMNIS and see what and where we save, and also how does the report look like once we have saved it. So first we start with the demographics panel. What is the information that we save here? Of course, the client information. I'm just going to load something from my test patients here. Previous patients, yes. And we see here that the SOC already filled in. All of the information that you see in here will be saved in your report automatically. All you have to do is just insert it here. Once we have our patient loaded, we are moving to calibration, and with fast track calibration, you all know that, I'm very sure, you start the process. And then I need to move the controls of Zoom, sorry, because they kind of, yep. Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, so now I see it well. I'm not going to start it just to save time. We all know what it does. So what does the program save? It will save your calibration result. The next step in our report, and I will show you exactly how these steps look, is the EEG and ECG program. Very easy. You all know how it works. You just click start. At this moment, we do not have a real patient on, so all we pick up is noise. And you all know we need a screen sweep before our program tells us what risks to explore. Yes.
What you are sharing, what you are doing on the screen, we have your PowerPoint presentation.
Oh. Okay, well, sorry. Let me go back to that. Thanks for letting. Stop share. Okay, let's go. Do you see the OMNIS now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I guess they are, yes. So I will quickly go back then a little to demographics. It's very easy what we've done. We've just loaded a patient here and put in all the SOC information. And what I was saying before, that all this information is saved automatically. Then we moved into calibration, which I did not do, but clicking the fast track calibration program will start your calibration and the program will save the result of the calibration. Then we go to the EEG and ECG panel. That here I was saying very easy to start and stop just by clicking the button. Moving on to ECG, the same procedure applies. Having no patient attached, we will just see a baseline with a little noise every now and then. And at the moment we click on stop, the smart report will save your data. Are we sure we want to leave? Yes. So let's take a look at how this actually looks so far in the report. If everything is true, now you see a PDF OMNIS Smart Report.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So when you generate the report, this will be your first page. Next, we have a table of contents. Here, my report is full with everything. It's 66 pages. It does not have to be 66 pages with all of your clients. Right now, I have filled in all of the data to be able to show you everything that we have. Session information, this is the first information that we have. We have the details of the practitioner, and we have the details of the patient who the report was created for. Then we have a license agreement to not distribute. This license agreement is very important because the practitioner report contains a lot of information that is not meant for the client. It's meant for the practitioner. You are the ones who know how to interpret this data. You are the ones who know what the numbers mean, what the reactivity is, what resonance is. If this information is passed on to your clients, they might be easily confused and surely not to their benefit. For that particular reason, we have this for the practitioner, and we also have a client educational handout. So far we have set in the SOC index data. You will see this is how it looks in the report. So you see you have all of the questions with all the recorded data for each client. In case you have inputted the information from the stress, when the information is more than 7, you have the additional panel that comes out. That information here will also come up with data. Regularly in the program itself, in the OMNIS, we do not save it from one therapy to the next. We always have to redo it, but the report now saves it for you automatically. The next one we looked at was the biorhythm. The case of the biorhythm in the report, it's very easy. If you do not do it inside the OMNIS, then the report would automatically, when you click on create report, they will automatically run the same protocol, the start biorhythm runs. So biorhythm will always be included if you wish in the report, the data will be there. So how does the biorhythm look? We see the reactivity for today. We have the three major categories: intellectual, emotional, physical, and then we have them all down here with the highlights that the OMNIS does for us. So we see that we have 100 critical, we have the peak at 24, we see all of the data exactly like we see it in the OMNIS. Next is our calibration percent. So as we see, today's value was 94%, and we have a small explanation telling us that yes, we've went above 85, which is perfect. Okay, then we have the pre-session EEG and ECG values. This is what we recorded just before with the graph. Okay, so this is everything that we've seen so far. So now we're going to go to the test. I'm not going to run the test for the ease of and quickness of the webinar. You all know it's prepare, test, and then test. And in the Smart Report, you have the options here to choose either the top 200 matrix items to include or the bottom 200 matrix, the top 30 or the bottom 30. And let's see how that looks in our report. Before that, the varhope values that are saved automatically again by doing the calibration and testing. We will have all of the values here: the electrical parameters, the voltage, amperage, resistance, hydration, oxygenation, basically everything that you see in the red referral panel. It is highlighted in green if the value is above 85, and it is marked as weak or chronic if the value is under 50. I see that even now here, you're able to see why we make a differentiation between the practitioner report and the client report, as these numbers, they do make sense for you. They might not make as much sense for the client. We also have the values represented in the graph right below. Next, the remaining information from the red varhope referral panel is the proton pressure, the electron pressure you have here that is alkaline, and all of the values you are very familiar with, I'm sure: major resonant frequency, reactance speed, and so on. We do have the body fat, cellular vitality index, and risks to explore that we are hinted in the red referral panel. If we do at the end of the session, which is recommended, a retest, a test of the varhope improvement, then all of the values will be here shown to you. Now we are going to take a look at the matrix. In this case, I said for our webinar, I selected the top 30, which you will see the matrix description and the value. I've seen before a question that we can zoom in. Of course, we could also always zoom in and see. It's a PDF file. You will be able to see it at any screen size you want. I'm just going to go back. And we have here the top 30 items of the last client that I tested. And we will see the bottom 30. We see everything is in blue with the reaction value. Okay. Moving on, we have the risks profile. Once we click on the risk profile, we will be able to automatically see all of the risks and the reaction value. What else is saved from here? Apart from the risks and the Celia bar, which is automatic once we enter the panel, there are the further options here: the oriental herbs, minerals, amino acids, aromatherapy, and perverse energy. All of these panels work in a similar way, as I'm sure you are all aware of. Once we click on the button, there's this quick test performed on these items, and then we get a reaction value here and the description of what we are testing. So what can we do in this panel? Here we can double click and work on an item. Let me just put this. We get a rectification value, and we can test and treat the hold items. Moving on to a better example in the minerals panel. Here we can also test an organ. So let's say we would test heart. I will type in here heart, and then I can click on test organ for involvement. What is it that my report will automatically save? My report will save the initial values, which are the values that I receive when I click on the minerals button. Then it will check that I have tested an organ against these reactions, and it will automatically save the rectification, the reactants, and it will also save how many times did I access the panel. Because if I go out and back in the minerals, the same test will be performed. So based on how many times I'm going to access the panel, these values can easily be changed, especially if we work on these items in between. So what is automatically saved is also the fact that I've clicked on an item and that I've entered this panel 2 times. And for ease of understanding, let's take a look. These are the risks that we have shown so far. They are presented in descending order with the same color coding that we have in the OMNIS and the reactants value on the right. So we have here the Oriental herbs panel. Here we see that we have not tested an organ against the reaction. And we see the Oriental herbs and their reactivity values and also the treatment numbers. So here, and if I zoom in just a little, you will be able to see that on this item, the antipyretic, I've clicked on once. I had an initial value of 38 and an ending value of 87. This is the last time I have accessed the panel. We do not have the values in between. We have the first and the last value. We see there's another item that I've clicked on 4 times. It had an initial value of 79 and then a final value of 67. And this is true for all of the 5 panels in the risk profile. We see the amino acids here as well with in the same system. We see the minerals panel. I'll zoom out a little so you can see the mineral panels with the aromatherapy panel. Here I have tested the lung, for example. I've accessed the panel once. And my values are obviously the initial value and the final value are then the same. And I have not worked on any of the items in here in aromatherapy. Then we have the perverse energy panels here exactly the same. As you can see, I see a question. Let me see. Yes, thank you for the compliment. And second, yes, you will have the recording. This whole webinar is recorded and you will be able to see it as soon as it is uploaded. Okay, having finished with the perverse energy, we're going to go back to the OMNIS and see what else we are saving here from the risks profile. So from the left side, as usual, and almost in every session, we all do a virtual doctor test. We select an item on the left, we click on virtual doctor test, and we will get a lot of information in the following panel. The information that we save in here automatically to the smart report will be the primary causes and cures related to each risk that we are testing, and the secondary causes and cure, and the recommended therapy right here. I hope you see my mouse, but we will check in just a little bit in the report to see how it looks. So I can work on 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 risks, and I can do a virtual doctor test. For each of those risks, I will have saved the primary causes and cures and the secondary causes and cures. And let's see how that looks. We've talked before about the Cellular. In each case, I'm zooming in just a little so you can see. In each case, you will see where your client is. We see that it's in exhaustion phase, and we have a little explanation of what that means. Oh, I did not mean to do that. So for each client of yours, automatically, you have seen that I have not clicked on anything else than I usually do in a session. I haven't clicked on save report. I haven't clicked on anything. I just go about my session as I would usually do, and the report saves everything automatically. Now the virtual doctor results, we see here that I have previously tested sugar regulation, hypoadrenia, and inflammation. And I have for all of them the primary cause and cure, recommended therapy, and the secondary causes and cures specific for each risk that we tested. we have a question here in between. Where can we get the smart report? The program will be, the OMNIS and the smart report will be released this week, Carola, and then you will be able to download it to your QX Subspace app. But that information will be sent in a newsletter with all of the details. Okay, so having finished here, I'm not going to go from here and connect to different panels that we can, because it's easier if we go in every panel from programs, in every panel where we save information from, and then hopefully go over it in the same order. Acupuncture pictures and consciousness form test. This is a very well used and very well liked panel. I myself like it a lot. And here we have three options on working with the acupuncture points. First of all, we do a manual choice of them. We know what we want to work on. We click on it, we select it from the list, we test and treat, and then we get a resonance and coherence values. The other option is to click superconscious search for point, and we get a selection here from the superconscious. And again, test and treat to see how it reacts. And then we have the ability to enter a concern and then do a superconscious search for point. All of this information is automatically saved for you and shown in the smart report. How will that look? You will be able to see that you've had manual choices. You will be able to see that you have had superconscious choices, and you will be able to see that you have searched for heart in connection to the acupuncture points automatically. All you have to do is test and treat on the points that you want to work on, and those will be the ones that are saved. I have not done it because we want to save time and make sure that we cover everything that we need in the smart report. Next possibility here, very much used, is the consciousness form test. You know, we click on here, we take the acupoints from AcuScreen, and then we have the information in here. 11 is empty in our programming system, as you know, and then we have the EXP and different information for each patient. All of this is saved automatically. We don't have to work on it in this case, click start or not. It's automatically added to the data. And let's see if we can see that exactly. Okay, I have aging first, but let's go to the acupuncture pictures and consciousness form test. So what I was saying before is that we have the acupuncture points here, which are the manual choices. Then we have the subconscious choices right here with the rectification data and what they are indicated for. And then we have the consciousness form test results that are displayed below in this. Okay, going back to the OMNIS. I see a question okay, not a question, but you're welcome. And we're gonna go to the next. And the next in alphabetical order is gonna be aging, where we save information from. We all love the aging panel, don't we? So where do we save information here? There's a lot of options here. We've maxed our interest to the most interesting one for the practitioner, which is the anti-aging RX. Here, what information is that we save? We save all of the data that we are provided here with the reactivity value, including the rectification if we work on an item to double click, and the quantic decay. And we also have here the anti-aging agents and energetic age, reaction tissue, and overall metabolic age, and the reactivity value. All you have to do is come in this panel, look at it, work on it, and the information is automatically saved. Okay, so once this therapy is over, we will see the rectified button. The rectified value, which is 51. Of course, we are recommended every time to try to go above over 80 or 85. But for the purpose of today, it's not that important. And now we're going to look and to see how aging looks in our report. In aging, so we have all the electrical parameters in here, the reaction values. See, everything that is above 80 is highlighted in red here. And then we have everything under. Then we have the premature aging stress factors separately. And we are also told where do the reaction values come from with the rectification and quantic decay, and how many times the therapist accessed the panel. Here we have a label missing, but that is probably from a later report that I've had. So everything is saved automatically without the need for you to do anything. Okay, I see. Yes, I see a question. Hi, Silky. Yes, there is a manual also available for the report. Yes, what we do here is just briefly go over the major panel. So that gives you an idea of how and where you will get information from and how the report looks like. But you will be able to have a manual and also this recording, and we have a separate recording that is not a webinar, just a regular recording where there's no questions and no interruptions, just focused on presenting the material. The next one after aging is biofeedback systemic relaxation. Here as well, you have the possibility again to work on manual choices where you select them yourself. So if you click on additional and select one, that counts for a manual choice. But if we click unconscious choice of therapy, that will select something for us here. In this case, uterine fibroid. How does that look in our report? Again, no need to click for anything. Let's check how it looks. All we have to do is do the therapy. Okay, so we have the biofeedback systemic relaxation. Everywhere there's going to be a little explanation of what the panel is. And then we have the entrainment list performed by the practitioner. This is everything that you have selected with the rectification values. In case your rectification hasn't reached the optimal level, you have a little notification here. And then we have the subconscious choices. So what we select, what the subconscious has chosen for us. In this case, reverse psychic attacks, farsighted, cholesterol. This is a more extensive than what we have just looked at in the OMNIS. Our next, very easy. I think there's no questions here. Maybe I do see the report. Yes, I see the report. Will it be in French too? Yes. A lot of it is already translated in French because we are using a lot of information that is already in the OMNIS and transferring it from the OMNIS automatically to the report. So what is already translated and in the report, it will be automatically in French. And the other information that is not currently in French is currently worked on. So we are working on translating it with our local brokers, working on translating it in every language. So as soon as possible. I have another question. If I make a report, I will read it out in case you don't see it. If I make a report on the 1st of April, then I see the client on the 15th. Do I have two reports or the second one erase the first one? All of the data is saved. So if you have a client on the first one of the same client on the 15th, you will have the data for both of them. And the beauty of the smart report is that you don't even need to generate the report. So you don't, basically all you have to do is do the session and all the data is stored there. You can go back in time anytime and see the data for a specific patient and a specific date. When we get to the report tool, I will show you how that works. But every client, basically what you need to know is that every client you will have from the moment you install this new OMNIS version, all of their data will be saved and you can access it anytime at your convenience. Okay, so I've answered that too. No more questions at this moment. Going forward from biofeedback systemic relaxation, another panel that we deemed important was the blood analysis. But in here, we are only saving the data from the panel right here, which is if the client comes with the existing blood analysis and you want to record some of the values that you think they are important, then you have this this possibility here. And having finished, you entered everything that is important for you. Urine. Okay, I'm just putting in random numbers and then we click on make report from BA input. This is actually the only place where you actually have to click on make report to save the data, because this is not automatically, this is data that we put in ourselves, is not data that we read from the client. Okay, and being here, I'd like to also do a little detour and present you the live consultation notes, because many times during our session, whenever we work with the client and we discuss about things that we do, a lot of information that hasn't been known or hasn't been revealed in the beginning can pop up during the session. And all of us use pencil and paper, right? Because it's easier than opening up a notepad, saving. We have come with another solution for the practitioner, and which is that if we click on our keyboard, and you will be able to see this later, but if you click on Alt and L, Alt and N, this is another feature that I just showed you, we will get the live consultation notes. Here I can write that client has sensitivity to odors, let's say, which they haven't told us, but they feel it's appropriate now. Childhood trauma at 5. I can increase the fonts. I can color them if I want in a different color. I can bold, italic, underline them. And well, if I want, I can click on save. It's here because everybody wants to see a save, but even if you just click without saving, you will still have it there next time you come in. So everything that pops up and you want to save and you want to remember and record for your client for every session, an Alt-L on your keyboard will bring up the notes, and it's also saved automatically. So you see, I haven't saved, I clicked, and whenever I want to bring it forward, then I will have it right here. This information can also be added to your report, whether you want it or not. And this information is also saved per patient and per specific date. So you are able to go back in time and see what notes you've made for each client, for one specific client, let's say on the 15th of April. I see I have a question. Can you please cover how the report gets smarter for each client? Yes, we will get that too. That is part of the advanced report, and not of the basic report. So right now we are presenting the basic report. We'll go over a little the advanced features as well. But today's current webinar is going to be focused on the basic report. Moving from the blood, we have the body scan and face therapy here. Again, you also know the quick way to work with it. It's scan all, then we are treating the foci, we are doing the cybernetic correction, and then we are retesting. And what results do we get? We get the aura snags here, emotional reactivity, and we also see if there's any flaws in any of the planes here. And that is the information that is saved by your report. All you have to do is go about your usual way. And what you will see if you select to see it, let's see if I've had it before or after. Body scan and face therapy. So here we see that we have had dominating anxiety shock. We have the reaction value, and we have that our auric field is stable. So that is the information that we have seen right here. I see another question. Oh, yes. Okay. Thank you. The body scan and face therapy. The next panel that we will work in is the cranial sacral. Of course, we're covering everything. It's not every session that you will work with all of these panels, but the information is saved if you are doing a variation and personalization for each of your clients, obviously. Otherwise, we'd be spending hours and hours with each client. So what are the options that we do here in cranial sacral? We have the possibility to choose from the radio buttons here, right foot bottom, left foot bottom, and then we do a treat and scan. That is saved. So if you work on it, it will be saved automatically. The next option in here is to go into cranial sacral. And we have the entrainment possibilities here on the left, TMJ therapy, somatoemotion, and all of these. We know that clicking on one of them will start the process, and then we will get a rectification. Everything that we click on and everything that we work on in here separately and their associated rectification will be automatically saved. So let's see how that looks in our report. Here we have the blood analysis that I haven't shown you before. This is all the information that I entered for the client. And we have the cranial sacral reflexology. I will zoom in a little. So you can see I had worked on TMJ therapy. I've had a rectification of 34, which was not optimal. So we are advised to try to reach a score of 85. Keep in mind, this is just for you. So the client will not see that the rectification was not optimal in case you are not, if you are deciding not to push, because sometimes it's best not to push if the therapist, of course, will see it. And then we see that the performed entrainments list is the right foot bottom and the RX for ankle pain that we have worked on. Going back to the OMNIS, these are all the information saved here in the cranial sacral reflexology. We have the dental. So what do we save in dental? In dental, as we know, we start with the info exchange. We are loading nosodes, isodes. The information that is saved automatically is the isodes table, which I will show you. Then we have the teeth tables. In here, everything will be saved with their information. We have the teeth charts. Here, clicking on test and treat, and this will take a little while, but I want to show you here. We click on test and treat, and that will give us the reactivity value for each of the teeth here. And with a double click, we can work on each teeth separately. So what are we saving? We are saving all of this information that we have here just after the first test and treat. We've seen that the 11s have changed into the reactivity values. And if we decide to work with a double click on either of the teeth, that will be shown in our smart report. So let me show you how that looks. So we have the teeth tables here. You see we have all of the reactions from left and right side. We have the reaction overview when we see that we have worked on the canine, the first bicuspid, molar, and so on. And we see the reactants, resonance, and rectification values. There's information usually that the tooth reflects to some areas, and we'll see that in the OMNIS as well. That information is also saved here. See if the OMNIS has finished. Hasn't finished just yet. Okay, so this is the information that I've shown you just before. Every tooth that we work with will have some areas that they are entwined to. Going back, what else did we say? We have the dental isodes here with their reaction value and descending order as usual. So this is everything that we save in the dental panel. Moving forward from the dental, we're going to go to the electrophysiological oscillation. In here, we have different tabs that we can work on. Each have their own functionality. And everything that we do, I'll quickly browse through them. Everything that we do will be saved automatically, and we'll go and check how. So we have the organ electrical pattern. Here we have the option to click on the adipose tissue treatment, select time and click start. If we have clicked on this, then we will mark it in the report. In the ECG, we have the stabilized heartbeat, and if it comes up and it does not come up for every patient, the apply radio ablation and the 5-minute blood pressure stabilization and the rectification values. All of it is saved automatically if you do it. I see a question, let me see. Is it possible to change the reflexology pictures because the points are not clear? I think this is a general remark, Nayeli, right, for the software, which absolutely is possible. And thank you if you forward it to Gerhard. He will put it in our list of priorities, okay? Thank you, Nayeli. Moving on to the next tab is the trivector EMG. Here we enter muscle name and up. And then we click test and treat. If we do this, it will be automatically saved. The autonomic nervous system, 3 possibilities for therapy, and we have to make these buttons a little bit bigger. The sympathetic, parasympathetic, and vagus nerve stabilization. If we do them, we save the rectification values for all of them. Then we have the brainwave pattern. Here we select brainwave. We treat clicked items, or we can stimulate brainwave with the 2-minute treatment. We can do the attention deficit, brain fatigue, and leap treatments, and we can select the pattern time from the right side. All of these here will be saved and shown in our report. In the subspace morphic trends, we have a little different way of working. So let's start that so we can go over it. And in the meantime, we will see how everything we've done so far looks. So in electrophysiological oscillation, I've worked on the alpha twice. It has found disorder in corpus callosum. For best results, I've had advice here below. Everything is recorded. I have done the apply radio ablation. Muscle tension in the trivector EMG, they found muscle tension, circled resonance and muscle disturbance. The subspace morphic trance is the one I am doing right now. And then in my case, it was disturbance in dimension 10. And then I worked on stabilized heartbeat. Here I can see I had a rectification of 60 for the blood pressure 101, which is good. Sympathetics 58, the parasympathetic and vagus 101 and 101, which, okay, this is still going on. In the meantime, let me see. Okay, if we have, yes, please send all the technical problems and questions that you have to help@qxroll.eu, and then we'll get to you as soon as possible. There's a question, where can we find the PDF with the report in the menu of the program? At this moment, it has not been released, and I will show you very quickly when we get to the report tool functioning, where you will be able to generate this report for you. So at the moment, it is not in anywhere in your program because it's just going to be released this week, like I said before. What is the difference between the smart report and the chart maker color report? There's a lot of similarities in it, as it has a lot of the same information, but the smart report on top records all of the information from the panels that you do therapies in and what was the rectification from it, which you are not able to see at this moment in the chart maker color report. On top of that, the design is different. It's more easier to find. You know, in PDFs, you can search with Control F and find everything. You can save it separately and access it later anytime. And also, one very important difference is that this is saved all the time, whether you want to have it, whether you make a specific save on it or not. So even if you do not generate your report, you are still able to access it anytime. As for the rest of the reports of the program, they have to be saved, even the old report that we had in or the load chart maker color report. So I hope I have answered that question now. So as we've seen before, here in the subspace morphic trance is where we will find the disturbance. The one we select and work on is the one that is going to be changed, like we've just seen here. And then, okay. Having finished, this is all of the data that we save here. Are we sure we want to leave? Yes, we are. And we are going to go to the homeopathic activation panel. Again, a very well-liked one and used one, full of possibilities. Not everything is saved from here. I'm just going to go over briefly what is. Usually what we all do when we get in here is load homeopathic remedy list. So this remedy list, by clicking the button, you're automatically saving it already. What else do we all do when we work in this panel is we double click on an item and we check for the potency. We can select 2 or 3 items. They are all loaded here in these edit boxes right here. And what we do is check the potency. We got a no log, please repeat, and check the potency. What is it that is saved? All of the information that we've checked for the potency, the name of the item, the remedy that we selected, and the remedy. The potency the recommended potency is automatically saved. And in a second, we'll take a look at how that looks. Then another important panel is the access scan for potency. So when we enter here, we can click on a homeopathic to check. And we do start main scan, and we again get information here that is automatically saved. I will not click on it, but we will take a look at how it looks in the report. So homeopathic activation, natural remedies, we have here the remedies in the table that we loaded. And then we have the tested remedies. So we see we have tested, and I will zoom in so you can see better how it will look. Oh, a little too much. So we have what remedy we have tested, and we have the recommended potencies right here. Then I have had, okay, let's zoom out so you can see better. Then we have gone to axis scan for potency, and here we see the recommended potencies here and the hints that were reactive when we did the main scan. This is all the information saved in the feedback homeopathic activation. In homotoxicology, plenty of information. The first thing we do is info click first. Very important, because this not only does it generate and test your data, but it also, this is one of the buttons that will tell the report, hey, there's data here, save it. So the miasms will be saved automatically when you click on info click first. Also, we have the xenobiotics here, the nosodes, and what we usually, all of us, in additional factors, what we usually do is select an item and then continue test on nosodes and isodes, and then we get all of this information here. All the information here is saved, and you can add it to the report. Very important to remember is that you can add it and you don't have to add it. So if you want to have something included, it's possible, but if you want to exclude it, that's also possible. And excluding it does not mean that at a later time you cannot access it. Even if for the current patient in this current session, when I generate my report, I will decide not to have this information loaded in. If a month later, I want to go back and see what it is, I can go back and select my patient, select my date, and decide to see what this information was that I have not included today. So we have this panel here that is a little lighter green. All of this information is saved. And then we have the ones on the right side that comes up whenever we click on an item. Very important to remember as well that here we save the last information. So we don't save the initial one, but we save the information when we exit the panel. This is true for here and for the right side here. On top of that, like I said before, the xenobiotics, the additional factors, and the nosodes are also saved automatically. I'm not clicking on anything here. I'm just doing my work and doing entrainments for my patient. Okay, this was everything that is saved in the homotoxicology panel. Moving forward from homotoxicology, NLP, emotional reactivity data, automatically saved as well. We have the mental factors and emotions chart. What do we do? Value of emotions, value of neurotransmitters, make emotion chart, and then show the emotions chart. Yes, and then all of this information is saved automatically. So let's take a look at how everything looks in our panel. We have the miasms here with their reaction values, all the time in the descending order with the highest values at the top. The nosode reactivity again, and zooming in so you can see better the name and the the reactivity. Yes, we are currently working on do we have plans to make the fonts larger? In the report, of course, it doesn't matter because you can zoom in and zoom out and see. And we are currently working on a solution for the DPI and the screen resolution issues that many of you have with older computers. Okay. Yes. So we looked at the xenobiotics, we have the additional factors, so we can see that everything that we see in the OMNIS, exactly how it is in there, Beauty Shop Talk Environmental with their reaction value. This is what I said, that this information right here, it's a perfect example that this is taken from the software. So if it has already been translated by our local brokers, then it will automatically appear in French if you generate it in French or Spanish or any other language it's been translated in. We have the homotoxicology in depth. This is what we call it, all the reactivity that we've seen on the bottom of the panel and on the right side of the panel. Here it's gone a little further. emotional reactivity. Anyways, we can go in here because the causes and aggravations are saved for each client. You don't even have to go and look. If the information is there, we are going to save it. So you don't have to go to information and load it from causes and aggravations. It is automatically going to be there. So this will look, again, the potential causes of disease, zooming in with the reaction value. You also have a graph which you can choose to include or not include in your report. Potential aggravations of disease. Again, with a different chart, if you want to include it, you can also exclude it. It's not necessary to have both. Then we have the emotional reactivity that we've looked, the emotion chart, all of the emotions with their reactivity and value. And a chart. The organ SAR codes, let's go and check. We're going to go back. The organ SAR codes are the ones from spinal here. We have the original SAR code results. So that information you will be able to see in the report. Okay, with its value. I see here another question. Okay, it's not a question, just again, if there's any technical issues, then to make sure that information is not lost, that we talk about it and we're not making notes of it, then it's best if you also send it at help. But I think, Gage, you have already anyways, and we are aware of that problem and currently working on it. Okay, so if I could, yes. Since we are in spinal, let's see what do we save in the spinal panel. All the information from the vertebrae. The usual way to work is we test and treat trivector energy flow as many times as needed, right? So what do we save? Let's go to the report and see how that looks. This was a little, sorry to go a little quicker here, but the spine is a little right here. Okay, so what information is saved? Information that is saved is the first, first of all, it's the last value that you get for each vertebrae. So you're clicking on treat and test and treat trivector energy flow. And the last value when you leave the panel, it's going to be either all corrected or it's going to be, some of them will have subluxation, inflammation, whatever, if you don't take the protocol to the end, or if you are told by the program to redo it another time, that can also happen. So that information will be saved here. And on top of that, you get an expanded view of the trivector energy flow in the spinal panel, which is the same information you can find in the chiropractic report in the chart maker. Report there, which is all of the values of each vertebrae. So at each test and treat, there's a reaction. So first corrected, the first one was always corrected, but the first one was not corrected. It can happen that it had like T1. Let's see that here. First one was inflammation, subluxation, and then we had corrected. This is very valuable information for the practitioner, so it is included in the SMART report automatically. All you have to do here, again, is just to do the protocol and just do the test and treat trivector energy flow as many times as you feel appropriate. There's another question. Could we hope that in the future we could have an average of the reports for the same client? Yes, there's a basic difference between the basic report and the advanced report. And what you are asking, Helen, goes a little bit into the into the pro territory. In there is going to be averages and all sorts of things, the smart things, basically, that Gage was referring to just before when she said that the report gets smarter the more you use it. And we are going to talk about that a little bit later. Okay, then Silky, wonderful. This is what I meant. Yes, I realized it. Thank you for your help, Silky, and suggestion. So everything that we've done in this panel here is saved. What else is in the spinal that we usually work on? Sometimes we go from biorhythm from here. If we don't do it from here, then it's done automatically. Allerzodes. What is it that we save in Allerzodes? So here we're not saving the Allerzode table. It's the only one that we don't include in here, but we are including the original chief hyperreactants with the reactivity value, the individual test, and the value associated to it. And there are two little lines here. If there's information here in these two labels, that is automatically saved as well. And let's see how that looks. Hyperreactants. So right here, we have the major hyperreactants and the reaction value, and we have the result of the individual test. And now that we are here, we're going to go also into the nutrition. In nutrition profile, we click calculate, strike this key first. Okay, and with this, we've already saved all the information that we have in here, the vitamin A family, all of the families and their reactivity value. Keep in mind that in here, we're just saving the value of the family and not the individual items in here. Okay, and how does that look? We were just there before. This is the nutrition and wellness and how it will look in our report. In here, I think it's the only panel where we keep we're not doing a descending order, but we keep the same order that we have in the OMNIS. Okay. I'm keeping a look on the questions. There are no more at this moment. Let me see what other panels. So we've been to nutrition, risk profile, spinal. We have gone over the causes and aggravations. We see that the emotions and neurotransmitters result will also be there automatically. And what is left is the latest step of each session, which is check current rectifications. In check current rectifications, of course, we all have different possibilities. We can work with rectifying of all below, overall, a short treatment, or the longer treatment that takes many minutes, as we are informed right here. And we save the values that are that we receive at the end. So when we exit the panel, and let's see how that looks. We are going to browse through a little the rest of the report because the system rectification, the current rectifications are at the end. Okay, so we have the system session system rectification and the session rectification and the values here. Of course, we are prompted to try to reach for the optimal rectification. Yes. NLP and survival awareness, that is not included in this. Keep in mind that this is the basic report. Yes, and the basic report offers a lot of raw data and not everything is included. The Pro, the advanced report, will have all of the data. Another question, is it not possible to get the biochemic tissue salt, more details from it? I think you mean the double clicking on it and the individual ones that you get in there. Those will also be available in the Pro if that is what you're asking. So we have gone over all of the panels that we get information from. And now let's see how our report tool looks like. So we finished with the rectification, and the next thing that we do is we're going to create Smart Report. The Smart Report here, there's a menu on the left. It works. You see, if I click on it, it expands, or it gets a little bigger. If it's in reduced mode, you are still able to see what each little icon and each little tab means. The first one, it's again designed to go from top to bottom and cover all of the areas. The first one is the My Practice one. Here you are able to enter all of the information pertaining to your clinic or practice name. This is the information that will pop up on both your practitioner report and also on the client report. Information is automatically saved again, so all we have to do is put it in. and we don't have to click on save or anything. We put the title, first name, last name, automatically saved. This will be remembered by your computer, but if you have a device with that many practitioners work on, like you have a practice and there's other people that use it, they can put their name for each client and then it's accurate. You can also add your phone number and your website and upload a logo here. Again, no saving button because it's automatically added to our database. Next in line is the demographics data. I see a question, let me. The retest for improvement for EPR. You don't mean, yes, you can put, there's a question, can I put my company logo? Yes, that is exactly what this logo is here. Natalia, do you mean the retest VARHOPE improvement? Give me a quick yes if you do, and I'll see it. So this is the information here. In the meantime, I will go a little more on here. This is the information to your practice. So your own phone number, your own website, and your own logo that will appear in the report that you give to your client and in your own practitioner report. In the demographics panel, here we have a list of all the patients. Keep in mind that all the patients that will appear here are the ones that you've added since you've installed this OMNIS. The information that you previously had and all the reports that is saved, unfortunately, cannot be adapted to this new one because it's a completely new programming way. So from the minute you install the new OMNIS with the report in it, all of the patients that you work for, they will be loaded here with this little arrow. And for each patient, you are able to choose a date. At this moment, I only have one, but I am an exception because mine is a beta test computer. So we always clear the information to be able to test it better. And we can load the patient picture here. Now, this is the same patient picture that you would load in the demographics, the calibration panel. You can either load it in the calibration or you can load it in this tab right here. They are mutually, they recognize each other. So no matter where you load it, it will appear where it's supposed to appear. The picture will also appear on the report. Then we have a little information about who the report is created to, their information. This is what will appear on the session summary of the report. Then we can personalize. Do we want to add the SOC inventory? Do we want to add the stress and detox, the simple biorhythm and the biorhythm trends? If you want to add all, very easy, select all or select none right here. Demographics. So everything related to your client data is covered in this little tab here. Yes, when backing up and restoring, yes. It will, all the data or the report data will be saved. So you can also move it to another computer if you wish. For that, you need to make a backup and then you can restore it on another one. Yes. There's another question. Can you change the pictures from session to session? The pictures of the patient, yes, you can change them from session to session. You can upload every time you want a different picture. And the latest one you apply, select will be the one that's saved. Yes. Let me see maybe two more questions. No, they're done. Okay, good. Then moving on to the testing phase and see what we can personalize here. Here you will see that you have, first of all, the calibration and VARHOPE electrical parameters. You can select which ones you want to include. Wherever you will see that there's grayed out information, that is things that you have not done. So if we did not do the calibration or the test, we will not have VARHOPE reactions and anything from the red referral panel. We will not have the matrix reactions if we haven't done the test because they will be the previous patient's reactions. So this will be grayed out. Everything that is in black is things that you can select and add to your report. The thing to remember here is also that you haven't done it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that you cannot do it. If you see that you've missed something that you would like to see and add to your report, you can just click, get out of the report tool, move on to, let's say, move on to the test, do the test quickly, and then when you come back, you will have all the information ready here for you. Yes, Violetta is asking, do we have this video available? Yes, the video will be available, and also a manual, a detailed manual of the report is also available for everybody. So we were in the testing phase. We can select everything we want to include. Here you see that in the matrix options, like I said, we heard before, we have 2 options for the top and 2 options for the bottom. Risk profile, again, everything that we've done is personalizable, let's call it that. You can either choose to include it or not include it in the report that you will generate. Let's say for the amino acids, you only want to have the overview that shows you the rectification and how many times you've entered the panel, or you want to have the reaction values as well, or only the reaction values. But if you do not want to have it today, maybe you want to have it in a month, and that's no problem. Going back to demographics, selecting that previous date, and then going to the testing phase, you will be able to then add whatever you missed today or you did not want to include today. Is there a button to select all? Yes, it's right here. If you click on it, select all and select none, then all you have to do is go from tab to tab and then select all. The reason it's like this is because not everybody would like to have automatically everything in, and you might want to just personalize it according to your client. Everything is about options, like we like to say. So risk profile and all of the information in here. This was everything related to the testing phase and categorizing phase. Then we have the in-depth reaction, reactivity, and resonance scores. I see a question, so it's done. Okay, that was the previous one. First of all, we start with the charts. Reactivity, this is all the charts that we looked so far, the causes and aggravations, the emotional neurotransmitters and organs. You can here choose to have just the values or also include a chart in your generated report. Then we have the dental panel overview. Again, it's a perfect example of the things that you have done. So for example, you've gone and done the teeth table, you have done some therapies, and you have the ISO information, but we have not gone to the TMJ, and we did not do the TMJ. We cannot add it to our report, but we could quickly just leave and go and do it and then add it to our report. Then we have the electrophysiological oscillations. Again, to personalize, you might just want to include all of them or just a few of them. EEG and ECG measurements. Again, the pre-session EEG, post-session EEG, to be included or not included as you deem appropriate for your current client. Then we have a list of all the therapies that we performed, and we went all the panels where we've done. We start with the homotoxicology, the miasms, xenobiotics, and everything. Then everything in homeopathic activation, remedy table, the tested remedy, the results of the access scan for potency, and then the panels accessed in the session. Everything from acupuncture to spinal and session rectification. Yes, we have a question. Where can we get the report for the client? It is different from the practitioners. Yes, it's different. And as soon as we finished here and we get to the generate part, then I will show you how the client report looks. Yes, the client educational handout has to be different for the specified reasons. Then we have the consultation notes. If we have created, then we can open it here. We can add to it, we can save, edit, do whatever we like, and we can add it to our report. Or if not, we can access it back in time, anytime we decide to come back for every patient and every session. And our last step is the create report. But I see a question, let me see. Thank you, you're welcome, Alexandra. And is there anywhere a manual for the EEG and ECG? Fons is asking. Not at this moment, but Desi is working on a video on it, as far as I know. But if you contact us, maybe I'll be able to speak to her and tell you when she will be ready. The last step in the report is creating the report. Very easy. Create practitioner report will load your practitioner report with everything that you have selected so far, and create client report. This is the educational handout for your client's awareness and support. Let's see how the client report looks like. And I think I've loaded the good one. Yes. First, we start with the table of contents again, like in here, and then we have the session information with the therapist's name, your logo, your phone number and your website and everything related to your patient here. So even if you have a different therapist, like I said before, you can change this and you will see the name of the actual therapist who has worked with the client. But today's biorhythm is always included for your clients, and you'll see that there is no values. Nowhere in the report for the clients will have any values. For the reasons that we've said before, it can be confusing, it's not helpful, and we all know that we are not a traditional system, and our reaction values, reactivity values, resonance values have to be taught, have to be understood, and they are for the practitioner and not for the client. So they are able to see still what areas they need to work on and what areas are low, falling, or improving. That information is there, but not the values associated that you as a practitioner can see and access. The SOC index, of course, with a little explanation here. Very important, because what you want to do is to try change their lifestyle, and they will be able to see and highlighted in red which are the areas that they need to work on and improve, and see why they are important. So this is all of the SOC, the stress and detox included for clients here. There's no option for personalization. If you have the data, that it will be automatically generated. Then we have the Varhope values. Here again, we don't actually have the values. We just have highlighted the ones that they have in red or under 50, the ones that are important for them. Proton pressure and electron pressure and the electrical parameters, the top 5. Then we have the heavy metals. Heavy metals are chosen from the matrix, always the same ones. Their purpose is just educational assessment. They are not highlighted in red, as you can see, so they are not, this does not mean that they are red for the client. This just means that they should pay attention and know what they are at all times to make sure to avoid them. Then we have the emotional reactivity. This is personalized to the client. We have the top 3 reactions. In this case, denial, misunderstood, self-doubt, with an explanation of why this is important and what they are. Then we have a blank space right here. The space below is to record feelings, insights, any behaviors connected to the emotional states. You know very well that when you discuss with the client their emotional reactivity, it happens that after a while they come back and say, oh, right, you were so right about that emotion, and I just remember something. Here they have the space to write it down for you before they forget, and come bring it back to the next session when you can, where you can discuss. This was a great idea, Gage. Thank you. So that is why we have this blank space here. Next one, we have the xenobiotics, and again the top 3 pertaining to the client with the explanation, but no values. Yes, so nice to see it all finally getting together, Gage, yes. Then we have the perverse energy, again, the top 3 that are related to the client with the explanation and no value. Then we have the minerals. Minerals, again, is just an educational handout. It doesn't mean that these are the highest one for your client. It's just the ones that we have commonly agreed on that are the most important ones, and they should be aware of why they are important and make sure to include them. Always the same for everyone. Then the dental TMG reactivity, if you do it, then this will be here. This will be specific to your client. The body scan and face therapy, again, the aura snags will be here, specific to your client, again, with no values, and the flaws wherever we found them with the explanation. I see a few questions here. Okay, thank you. Good, just no questions, just remarks. Then ending of the report of the client is a general stress and hormones educational handout, just a quick 1-pager that will draw their attention to why this is important, and another one on general stress and nutrition education, which again is for their education mostly. We do not want to include anything that might well, that might confuse them. Is there any report for home use? No, home use is not included in this report, but it will be included in the Pro. Can these be emailed to clients? Yes, absolutely. You can save them as a PDF and email them. And we are currently also working on a quick button that allows a quick email. So there's no need to print. You can just save them on your computer and then email them yourself from your own client account. Thank you. The compliments. Yes, Engage is right. The idea for the client report is to create engagement and reflection by the client to return for deeper exploration. Exactly. Exactly. Okay, so we are going to exit. Let me see other questions here. So the minerals or nutrition does not show personal results of the client. No, the minerals are the same for each. It's just informational for them. Will there be a price for this software? The basic report is free for all OMNIS users. The Pro report is the one that is that's going to be 1,999. But this, what you've seen today, everything is included in your OMNIS. I could not join in time. Is it possible to see it? Yes, we have a recording of the webinar. Is there any report of the body viewer disease and iridology? Not in the basic one, no, but in the Pro. Looking forward to the advanced report. Yes, that's going to be the theme of our next seminar.
Andrea, just a quick question regarding the price of the Pro. It's 1,999 for the QXS users, for the ED users.
Is included
As well.
Yes, yes. Oh, there you go. Thank you. Thank you. So yes, what Tom is saying is that even everybody who has an ED will also have the Pro included. Otherwise, the price for the Pro for the QXS or SKIO or Eductor users is 1,999 euros. Yes. So just to wrap up, we're going to go back to my presentation a little and see what do we offer with the Smart Report. What did we want to provide you? First of all, we wanted to make the information from the biofeedback session more visual, simpler to access, and engaging, because it's a way for you to talk more to your client and get more information. This comprehensive history will always be at your fingertips. Going back in time is not a problem, even if you do not save the data immediately. And you can go back and forth between the report and your session to review the client information. So you have your own client database. From demographics, we all know client recording is very fast. Whatever you add into this new software will be automatically reported, recognized by the Smart Report. And of course, the client data is protected according to all current regulations. Like we've said before, you can access the client data anytime. It's secure. You can go back in time and get it no matter how much time has passed. We never delete it. It's always going to be there. You can back up and restore it on other computers. And not saving does not mean you lose your data. So you can just go about your session, not even go into the report tool, sorry. And if you want to go at a later date, everything will be there. The live consultation notes, they were built for easiness of recording everything that might slip during a session. And recording it and saving it to a specific patient and to a specific date, it's going to be very, very valuable. And it's obviously easily accessible in any given panel in OMNIS. The key combination is Alt-L. Here I put a capital L, it's a normal L, but you will be able to see it in the manual. And it's automatically saved by the Smart Report. There's a few questions here. Let me go back. Price on the Pro, I've asked it. Thank you. Oh, thank you very much for the feedback. Thank you. The Pro will be available sometime in the next 2 months. We'll notify you exactly with the newsletter when we have a date. did you say this was going to be available on Skio as well? When we release, currently the OMNIS software is only released for the QXS, QXED, and a few testers for our Skio and eductors. But when we will release it to the Skio and eductors, to the general public, then yes, it will be available for the Skio and eductor as well. Yes, we have here, does the client know that their data is collected and saved, including history and how it is used? Yes, well, this is also how it will be secured. Does it meet government privacy laws? Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Part of this is the part of the practitioner that the practitioner does with their client, because from every session that you've had, you have to have the client's informed consent to save their data. So this is also true for the current reports right here. The data is encrypted. Basically, if somebody steals your files from your computer and tries to access them in another computer, they will not be able to. They will have to hack them, but they are encrypted according to the current regulations. When will this be released for QXS? This week, probably on Wednesday for sure. But this week we have a few tweaks to finish on the manual, and we did not want to release it before we have the manual completely ready. So in 24, 48 hours probably, but we'll send a newsletter out to everybody. And the ones that are going to be in about 2 months is the Skios and eductors. Isn't the Pro a comparison on the different sessions available? Yes, the Pro will show you different trends. The Pro will also show you how you will be able to check how information has changed from one session to the next. And when I say information, I mean a matrix item, an emotion, rectification of a therapy, all of that you will be able to go back in time and select and choose. You want to see how, let's say, matrix item 920 has behaved in time. Then all you do is input it into a search field, search for it, and you will see how it went and what was the trend of that specific item. Of course, it needs data, so the more you use it, the smarter it will get. And this also, the Pro will be able to show you if you have missed an item, let's say, or maybe you haven't, but if the Pro notices, the system notices that one of the items, and that can be matrix or any charts or anywhere where we get information, has been in the reactive side of the tables, it will tell you, it will bring you a hint and say, hey, have you looked at this item? Have you seen it's always in red? So it will basically help the practitioner's work and help you make sure you're not going to miss anything that is important for the client. Will the Pro record individual reaction data? Yes, everywhere where the basic does not, the Pro will have the individual reaction data. How do we get the newsletter? If you are registered on qxsubspace.com, www.qxsubspace.com, and you have checked the box of receiving a newsletter, then you will get it. And you are an OMNIS user at the moment for this version. When we release it to the public, then everybody will get the notification. Will you offer an updated informed consent? Yes, absolutely. For Skio and eductor use, the price will be the same that for QXS users. The OMNIS update, if that's what you mean, that will be 100 euros for Skio and eductor users, yes. For the report as well, for the Pro report as well, the price will be the same, exactly like for the QXS users. Okay, thank you. Thank you for the positive feedback. Thank you. I'm trying to see if there's any more questions that I've missed. Oh, just a lot of very good feedback. Thank you very much. So in summary, what we thought is that the right information leads, of course, to better understanding. And with the Smart Report, you can now make better informed decisions regarding your client's alternative care with access to a complete spectrum of session records. I'm going to look for more questions now because I've reached the end of my presentation. Thank you. I have a question from Lorella. I currently give my clients the imbalances of minerals, hormones, toxins. So why is this not going to show up? In our internal, let's say, analysis of what we include in the client report, it's basically the decision and the politics of the company that this information is not given out to the client. There's sensitive information that can be misinterpreted and information that may be perceived wrongly. Let's say it can be perceived as a medical diagnosis, which is definitely not. And since we are addressing a very wide range of practitioners, we have to make sure that we keep everybody safe. Basically, our concern is to have you as a practitioner safe from any troubles you would get if the practitioner report gets out. This is why the client report is a little reduced, but the value, we feel it's the same. Will you work on graphic design on the OMNIS soon? Yes, we are, Helen. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for all the positive feedback. And let's see, there's other questions. Oh no, just thank you. When it will be available for Eductor? Marie, we are trying to do it in a timeline of 2 months. The next webinar that we will have will be the Pro, where we will be discussing and seeing how the Pro report, the advanced report, look like. And I guarantee that will blow your mind. If this did, then that will do it even more. And then we will have it for the Skio and the Eductor as well, and Indigo as well. I think, I'm not sure at the moment, but yes, it will be, right? Guys, help me out. I'm getting a little tired.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, right?
Yes.
Yes, okay, thank you. Thank you. This was the basic that I showed. I showed the basic. The Pro is a lot more than the basic. I think quickly I would tell you that the difference between the Pro and the basic is that the basic shows you raw data and it's very helpful, and you can access all of the information, but the Pro will make your job a lot easier. So we will announce soon when we will have that new webinar ready. And in the meantime, I think I have answered all. I have all the questions, except I have a new question from Nina with a few numbers here from the matrix. I'm not sure what is the question here. So, oh, no, okay, it was a mistake. Okay, no problem. Okay, good. I thought maybe you had a specific question about that. Okay. Okay. We have a question. Yes, I was wondering about the veterinary program. The vet at this moment is being developed. So I think we're going to be able to tell you at a later date exactly when it's done. I don't want to make promises without checking with our developer team before that. And again, the Pro will be available for the Eductor when we release it in about 2 months. And yes. Thank you. So no open questions. Any last, the Indigo? Yes, I can repeat for the Indigo. When we release the OMNIS for our devices, our older devices, Skio, Eductor, and Indigo, then it will be available for the Indigo as well. The disease dictionary and body viewer and iridology, they will go in the Pro, not in this basic one that we talked about today. There, everything that you access and everything that you work on in there will be saved in the Pro. Okay, so if there's no more No more questions? Just thank yous. Well, we all thank you. You've been amazing. Thank you very much.